Maya rewrote one simple email 42 times. She called it perfectionism. Adler might ask a stranger question. What is not sending it protecting her from? 3 sentences. No confession, no resignation, no declaration of war. She only needs to press send. 1 hour later, the email is more polished, Maya is more exhausted, and nothing has moved. The obvious question is, what caused this? Was she criticized as a child? Embarrassed at school? Rejected by someone important? Alfred Adler would care about all of that. His stranger question does not erase the past. It changes direction. What is this perfectionism doing for her right now? Maybe the endless editing is not only pain left over from yesterday. Maybe it is also protection today. As long as the email is unfinished, nobody can judge it. Maya cannot fail because she has not fully entered the game. That is the doorway into Adlerian psychology. It does not begin by treating a person as a bag of separate symptoms. It asks how thoughts, feelings, habits, relationships, and imagined goals form one organized movement through life. Adler began with a simple observation. Being human means beginning small. Children are dependent, physically limited, and surrounded by people who seem more capable. So feelings of inferiority are not automatically a disorder. They are the felt gap between where we are and where we want to be. A gap can create useful movement. You cannot play the piano, so you practice. You do not understand statistics, so you study. You feel awkward at a party, so you learn to ask better questions. Adler called this compensation. Weakness becomes a reason to develop capability. But the same gap can bend in another direction. Suppose being ordinary feels unbearable. Then improvement is no longer enough. You must look flawless, powerful, untouchable, or permanently correct. That is where inferiority and superiority can become 2 sides of one machine. The person who must dominate every room may not feel deeply secure. The performance of superiority can be armor built around a feared inferiority. Adler's point was not that ambition is bad. It was that the direction of striving matters. Are you becoming more capable of meeting life, or merely better at hiding from the possibility of being inadequate? To explain that direction, Adler treated behavior as purposive. We do not only move because the past pushes us. We also move toward imagined destinations. Be safe, be admired, never need anyone, never look foolish, never lose control. These destinations are often not conscious plans. They are closer to private rules that organize attention. If my hidden rule is, mistakes make me unworthy, then a simple email becomes a courtroom. If my rule is, needing help makes me weak, every relationship can feel like a contest that I must never lose. Adler called the larger pattern a style of life, the personal map we build for who we are, what other people are like, what counts as danger, and how we are supposed to earn a place in the world. Now perfectionism makes more sense. It is not random. It protects Maya from exposure. Procrastination can do the same thing. If I start too late, failure can be blamed on time rather than ability. Withdrawal can preserve the fantasy that I would have succeeded if I had really tried. Anger can move other people back before they get close enough to reject me. Adlerians sometimes call these safeguarding strategies. They can reduce danger in the short term while quietly shrinking life. The shield works. That is exactly why it is hard to put down. But every day spent avoiding the test is also a day without new evidence that the old private rule might be wrong. This does not mean people consciously invent anxiety or depression. It means a therapist may ask what function a pattern has come to serve, often outside awareness. The name individual psychology sounds as if Adler wanted to study people in isolation. He meant almost the opposite. Individual referred to an indivisible whole, and that whole always lives among other people. Our private goals usually concern belonging. Will I be accepted, humiliated, needed, controlled, left behind? Even the wish to be superior requires an audience below us. So Adler judged psychological health partly by social interest, the capacity to feel that we belong to a larger human world and can contribute to it. This is not compulsory niceness. It does not mean tolerating abuse or abandoning boundaries. It means replacing, how do I prove my worth, with, how can I participate usefully with other imperfect people? That change requires encouragement. Adlerian therapy often moves through 4 stages: relationship, assessment, insight into private rules and goals, and practice in a new direction. The therapist might ask, if this problem vanished tomorrow, what would you do that you are not doing now? The answer points toward the life being avoided. Then comes a small experiment. Send the draft, ask for help, enter the room, state the boundary, attempt the task before confidence arrives. The target is not invulnerability. It is courage, action while uncertainty is still present. Each action creates new evidence, and new evidence can redraw the private map. This is also where we need a modern guardrail. A purposive interpretation is a useful hypothesis, not a universal fact. Trauma changes nervous systems and expectations. Biology, learning history, poverty, discrimination, illness, and present danger can all constrain behavior. Asking what a symptom protects must never become a clever way to blame the person who suffers. Adlerian psychology is a broad historical framework, not a laboratory-tested explanation for every human action. Some of its ideas fit comfortably beside modern work on goals, schemas, avoidance, belonging, and behavioral experiments. Other claims are difficult to test, and some should be treated cautiously. Birth order is the famous example. Adler thought a child's experienced position in the family could shape the problems they expect and the strategies they try. That can be a conversation starter. It is not a horoscope. Large modern studies find that simple labels such as firstborn, middle child, and youngest do not produce the dramatic, fixed adult personalities promised by popular lists. Family size, age gaps, culture, changing roles, and the child's own interpretation all matter. Use birth order to ask questions, not to announce a destiny. Here is the most useful Adlerian test to carry away. Pick one pattern you dislike: delaying, pleasing, controlling, disappearing, over-preparing. First, ask what happened. Be honest about the history and the constraints. Then ask a second question. If this pattern disappeared tomorrow, what risk would I have to face? Judgment? Conflict? Dependence? Ordinary imperfection? The answer does not prove a hidden purpose, but it may reveal the price your protection is helping you avoid, and the life it is also preventing you from entering. Maya reads the email one final time. It is not perfect. She is not certain. The possibility of judgment is still there. But now the goal is different. The goal is not to guarantee her worth. It is to communicate something useful to another person. She presses send. That small movement captures Adlerian psychology at its best. The past matters, but it is not the only direction from which a life can be understood. We are also organized by the futures we imagine, the protections we build, and the courage we practice when we choose belonging and contribution over a flawless defense.